welcome from me, Dawn. Welcome to another lesson in this series about databases. Our previous lessons showed examples of different databases and how to open an existing database. In today's exciting lesson, you will learn how to design a table and then input data and information into the table using the two views you had to research. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to create and save a table using a wizard. Choose the correct data type and formatting for fields in Design View. Right guys, before we create a table, let's hear what you have learned about the two views that are used when creating tables.
Well, I've learned that a design view is used to design a table from scratch. This means that you have to decide what fields you'd like to enter and, of course, what data you'd like to enter into those particular fields. I also know that there's a whole lot of information that you can enter, but that I'm not too sure about.
And a datasheet view shows all the fields that you have created in Design View. And each field will now be a column in this view. And it is in this view that you can enter all the information into the database.
Well done, you two. That's exactly right. In this lesson, we will discuss the design view in detail. We're going to create a new single table database for storing information of a book collection, similar to what could be used for a library. So let's create our table and we will discuss any concerns as we go on. We start off by creating a blank database. Click New on the toolbar or choose File New on the menu to open the task pane on the right. In the New File task pane on the right-hand side of the screen, under New, click Blank Database. In the File New Database dialog box, specify a name and location for the database and then click Create. Remember, you can't rename or move the database while it's open, so choose the location and name wisely at this stage. Let's enter books under File Name and save the database in My Documents. Click Create. When you open the new database, it gives you three options. Option 1, create a table using Design View. In this view, you need to specify the types of data you want to enter. Option 2, create a table by using a wizard. This wizard already has various tables available that are commonly used in businesses or by individuals. All you have to do is select the type of table which best matches what you need and then select the fields that apply to the table you want to create. Option 3. Create a table by entering data. With this option, the table is created as you type in data. We will create a table making use of the wizard. The wizard suggests fields that you might want to use. I'll show you. In the database window, click Tables under Objects and then click New on the database window toolbar. Double-click Table Wizard. Click Personal. Click Books, then select the field you want by clicking the field and then the single arrow. Let's choose Title, ISBN number, Publisher name, Purchase price, Date purchased, Pages and Cover type. When you click Next, you will be prompted to name the table. Let's call it Books.
The wizard asked for a primary key. What on earth is a primary key?
A primary key is a field or column whose value uniquely identifies each record in a table. A primary key cannot allow duplicates. Every value in this field must be different. Null values are also not allowed in the primary key field, so you can't leave the field blank. We can choose the ISBN number as primary key since all books have a unique ISBN number.
So what happens if a table does not have a field that will necessarily be unique?
You can let Access add a field for you which will be of the type auto number. This field will automatically start numbering the records at 1 and increment the number by 1 for the next record. Skip the step where you can link to other tables and then choose to modify the resulting table. This will open the table in Design View. In Table Design View, you can create an entire table from scratch or add delete, or customize the fields in an existing table. We started by using the wizard, and therefore we have a couple of field names already. To illustrate how you can use the table design view to modify the table design, we're going to make a couple of changes. Let's rename the field cover type to format. You simply delete the current name of the field and type in a new name. To delete a field from a table in Design View, simply select the field by clicking on the grey button to the left of the field name. This is called the Fields Row Selector. Then click Delete Row icon on the toolbar or push the Delete key on the keyboard. Let's delete the field Pages.
Can we add more fields?
Of course you can. To add fields to the end of the table, click in the first blank row. Click in the field name column and type a unique name for the field. Let's add the field names: release year, available to borrow, and number of copies. To insert the field within the table, click in the row below where you want to add the field, and then click Insert Rows on the toolbar. Let's also add an author field after title and a field called Cover Picture immediately after the ISBN number.
So how long can these field names be?
Field names can be up to 64 characters long and may include any combination of letters, numbers, spaces, and special characters except a period, an exclamation mark, an accent grave, and brackets. Field names cannot begin or end with spaces. You may, however, include spaces in the names of fields and database objects. Many database programs display documentation without spaces. Leaving spaces can later produce naming conflicts in some circumstances, such as when the database is linked to a programming language. When you name a field or object, it's a good idea to make sure the name doesn't duplicate the name of a property or other element used by the database program, such as primary key or field, even if the database program allows you. This kind of naming can cause unexpected behavior.
So what is the purpose of the description column?
In the description column, you can type a description of the information this field will contain. The description is optional. This description is displayed on the status bar when adding data to the field in Datasheet View. Type the number above the barcode as the description next to the ISBN number. To switch to Datasheet View, click on View, Datasheet View, or on the icon in the top left corner. In Datasheet View, you can see all the field names that you have chosen as column headings, and each row will contain the data from one record, in our case, data from one book. Click in the column for ISBN numbers to see that the description is displayed in the status bar at the bottom of the screen. Next, you have to decide on the data type for each field name. The field data type determines what kind of data it can store. The wizard has chosen the data type text of the fields. A field whose data type is text can store data consisting of letters, numbers, spaces, and punctuation. You cannot do any calculations with data stored as text. So, if you want a field to store numerical values that you can use in calculations, you must set its data type to number or currency. To change the data type, click in the Data Type column, click the arrow, and select the data type you want. You can change the data type of the release year and the number of copies fields to number so that we can calculate how old books are and also add up the number of copies of various books in reports. The wizard has already chosen the data type currency for the price field, which means that the values in this field will display the currency symbol according to the regional settings in the control panel of Windows. The field available to borrow has to store yes or no only. There is a data type that will put a checkbox in this field to indicate yes if it is ticked and no if it isn't. Change the data type for this field to yes or no. Next, change the data type of the field cover picture to OLE object. This means you can store a picture object in this field that will be linked to a picture file in the database. Lastly, set the data type for the field date purchased to date or time. We will learn how to store pictures and add data into these fields in the next lesson. Field properties are characteristics that provide additional control over how the data in a field is stored, entered, or displayed.
Dawn, I've noticed how the properties aren't the same for the different fields. They keep on changing when the data types change.
The properties which are available depend on a field's data type. You can use the field size property at the bottom of the screen to set the maximum size for data stored in a field set to the text. You will notice that a default field size of 50 was used for all text fields. This means that 50 characters can be stored in these fields. An ISBN number always consists of 10 letters and/or digits, so we can change the field size to 10. The title could be more than 50 characters, so we can change the field size to 100. You will remember that in our lessons on data representation, we learned that 1 byte is used to store 1 character. That means if the field size is set to 100, that 100 bytes will be used for each value. You should always use the smallest possible field size property setting because smaller data sizes can be processed faster and require less memory. A word of advice though, if you convert a large field size setting to a smaller one in a field that already contains data, you might lose data. For example, if you change the field size setting for a text data type field from 50 to 10, data beyond the new 10 character setting will be discarded. We say it will be truncated.
So does the field size determine how many digits are available in a numeric field as well?
No, not quite. You will notice that if the data type property is set to number, the field size property will now offer different types of numbers to choose from. Byte stores numbers from 0 to 255, no fractions. Integer stores numbers from minus 32,768 to 32,767, no fractions. And if you really need bigger numbers than that, you can use long integer. To store decimal values, you can use single, double, or decimal. You can also set the format property to predefined number formats or custom number formats for the number and currency data types. Right, you guys, we have come to the end of our lesson. You certainly have learned a lot about tables and data typing. Your task for today is to read up on at least 5 other data types and field properties. Find out and write down what the difference is between the general number and the currency setting, the fixed and standard settings, and the percent setting and the scientific setting. In our next lesson, you're going to learn about entering information into a table and also about editing and formatting that information. Thank you for joining us in this lesson on databases. Don't forget, for interactive web lessons, visit our website. Salani Kahle.